Serving in the military means extended periods away from loved ones, but the homecomings make all the sacrifices worth it. Sound too good to be true? Then watch to the end and see for yourself. For this airman, the moment he hugged his wife and son, he was overcome with emotion. He just missed them so much. When Ryan was asked to take a look under the mascot costume, his reaction shifted from curiosity to pure shock when he saw his military sister standing there. While most kids are still sleeping in their warm beds at 5 a.m., these little ones were at the military base eagerly awaiting their dad. Aw, look how cute they are. It wasn't easy for this woman to keep her surprise a secret, but she managed to give her boyfriend the homecoming of his dreams. Hey, Private Hicks, get in there for a hug. One woman's wish to spend Christmas with her son came true in the most magical way when Santa himself showed up to grant it. Military service may have kept these brothers apart for a year, but their bond is as strong as ever. When this service member heard her mom was graduating, she didn't hesitate to rush back from Afghanistan to be by her side on this important day. You have no idea how happy it made her mother. Watch these two sisters run into the arms of their mother. It's like they haven't seen her in an eternity. Now that's what I call a family. This family's group photo isn't complete with their soldier, but their world becomes whole again as soon as he steps through the door. This elderly couple has no idea how happy they're about to be in a few seconds. Their granddaughter has come home from her service in the Navy, and pretty soon, the whole neighborhood is gonna know it. This family will never forget this hockey game because it's the one that reunited them with their son. These soldiers have been away from their families for a whole year, but seeing the happiness on their faces reminds them why they sacrifice. What started as an ordinary school day for these girls turned into a dream come true when their dad suddenly appeared on the TV screen announcing his return from Afghanistan. Malik Hurd had no idea that his mother, Sergeant Eva Roby, would be at his University of West Georgia graduation. She moved mountains to be able to share this day with him, turning an already special day into an unforgettable one. Being away from her child was very hard for this mother. That powerful hug really shows how much they missed each other. After 5 years of unsuccessful attempts to have a child, this soldier received the greatest news the day he got home. He's finally gonna be a dad. This young woman has waited 6 months to hold her soldier boyfriend again. It's been the longest 6 months before the start of their happy life together. Sisters by birth, best friends by choice, separated by duty. The raw emotions in their reunion say more than words ever could. This young woman has just come home after 155 days of service. Her family greeted her right at the airport with flowers, posters, and so much warmth that she couldn't hold back her tears of happiness. Moments like these remind us of the true value of family. Missing his younger brother pushed this soldier to show up in his classroom right in the middle of a lesson. The emotions on both sides made it all worth it. His brother just couldn't believe his eyes. After months of navigating raging seas aboard the USS New York, this Navy sailor has finally come home to his safe harbor, his girlfriend. Among the hundreds of soldiers, she searched for the one whom she had given her heart to. After everything they've been through, separation will never be a part of their story again. Because of her military service, this woman hadn't seen her sister in ages, so when she returned home, she teamed up with her mom to surprise the younger one at school. This heartwarming moment is now a cherished memory in their sisterly bond. The pure joy on this little girl's face as she reunites with her pilot dad is heartwarming, even through a screen. Hugs are a rare treasure for these two, which makes this one all the more meaningful. This dedicated woman has counted every day of her lover's military service. Now, today, on day 218, he's finally home. She decorated the house and even dressed up the dogs for this moment. Still don't believe in love? Straight out of a Hollywood romance movie, a Marine coming home from service to the arms of his beautiful partner. Their reunion on the tarmac in the pouring rain is nothing short of cinematic. No, I'm not crying, it's just the rain. After 6 long months apart, this girl planned the perfect surprise for her boyfriend to welcome him back. A true hero's homecoming. This young woman is on a special mission to let her twin brother know just how proud she is to call him an amazing military man. Allie Eckhart had no idea that her military boyfriend, Slade, would be sitting in the audience while she performed Les Miserables. This is bound to be one of the happiest moments of her life since the couple started dating in 2015. This service member hadn't seen her best friend in 2 years, so she decided to surprise her on campus. Judging by those hugs, the surprise was 100% successful. After 9 months in Korea, far from her loved ones, this young woman couldn't wait to see her mom. She went straight to her place of work, knowing she couldn't bear another moment without her mother's embrace. He's a Marine and she's graduating from the Air Force. Today, he gave her a double celebration by unexpectedly showing up at her ceremony. She had been counting the days until she could escape the monotony of military life and get back to her beloved Shreveport. The incredible warmth of her welcome home is worth more than all the treasures in the world. Her military brother rushed to make it home in time for his sister's graduation. To make the moment even more special, he surprised her at work. Her tears of joy said it all. This little girl was on her best behavior all year long, and Santa rewarded her with the biggest surprise she could imagine. One she would remember for a long time, because hiding inside is her older brother, who's come home from the military. This military son convinced his mom that he wouldn't be able to make it home for Christmas, only to show up and make it the best holiday of her life. Today is this woman's wedding day, but it all feels incomplete without her brother, who's away serving in the military. Or is he? After a long time in the service, Jessica surprised her uncle in the most heartfelt way when he returned home. Their embrace feels like it could last forever. Her soldier has finally come home, and in this moment, nothing else matters. She even drops the sign she's holding to give him the biggest hug. When he heard about his sister's illness, this soldier managed to get time off and rushed to the hospital. The brotherly support he gave her was exactly what she needed.
In Jesus' name, amen.
When your belief in miracles starts to fade, remember Karen Curran Fox, a soldier who reunited with her loved ones during a Christmas service. All thanks to the preacher's family who met her at the airport and helped her set the whole thing up. During a meeting with the principal, this boy wasn't prepared for the shock of seeing his mom finally back home.
I knew he would.
3-year-old Isabella loves 2 things: dancing and her daddy in the military. National Guard Specialist Paul Hayhurst had been in training for 7 months, but managed to make it to her performance for a surprise entrance out of a box. If Christmas miracles aren't real, how did this Navy mom manage to go straight from deployment to her 6-year-old daughter's school in a record time? Her military son couldn't make it home for Christmas, so he sent her a heartfelt card. Oh, and a little surprise to go with it.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
These two haven't seen each other in 185 days. As they come closer, you can feel the magic in the air. Their world finally feels whole again. These sisters were separated for so long because one of them is serving in the Air Force. It's like they're 2 sides of the same coin, complete only when they're together. And now, they are. When her military grandson unexpectedly comes home for the weekend, this grandmother was so shocked she thought he was his twin brother. She couldn't believe it was really him. This servicewoman surprised her grandmother by coming home earlier than expected. Of all the surprises her grandkids have planned for her, this one was the most touching. After 6 months away on duty, this border guard has finally come home. If this little boy could trade all his presents just to make sure his dad never left again, he wouldn't even hesitate. It had been 13 years since this man last cried, but the tears flowed when his son came home from the Navy and gave him the surprise of a lifetime. Big men cried too. This servicewoman showed everyone how to properly surprise a best friend with news of her return home. Even while apart, they never forgot their signature greeting. Am I the only one feeling their joy? The first thing Marcial Llamas felt when he returned from military service was the loving embrace of his wife. That airport has never seen so much joy and love between 2 people. Missing his sister's graduation? Not a chance. This military man made sure to come back after 8 months of service just in time to see her cross the stage. No one expected such an incredible Christmas surprise, but this Marine went above and beyond to make it happen. The shock on his mom and brother's faces speaks for itself. This soldier decided not to warn his girlfriend that he would be coming home so he could capture her genuine reaction, and it was priceless. The graduation ceremony was completely overshadowed when this young woman spotted her military sister in the crowd. She had made it in time, and the emotions were just incredible. No matter how tough and serious military life makes you, you'll always be Mama's little boy. The love and support of his mother is the most important thing for this soldier. Freshly home from deployment, this woman rushed to reunite with her greatest love and let the rest of the world wait. But scratch that, work won't wait, but the rest of the world can. Watch as this mom's ordinary workday suddenly turns into a rainbow of emotions when she sees her daughter for the first time in 8 months. This soldier missed his sister deeply. She missed him just as much. Their teammates celebrated the reunion by enthusiastically cheering and banging their sticks. 4 years ago, this young man left home as just an ordinary guy chasing his dream to join the Navy. Today, he returns as a hero, and his dad couldn't be prouder. For Sergeant Brent Sanders, the greatest sound in the world is the joyful cries of his wife and daughter. He hurried home from deployment to give them this unforgettable surprise reunion. This little girl couldn't figure out why everyone was recording until she saw who was standing there. 5 months without her mom was far too long for this little princess. If only you knew how much he missed his sister and her surprises during these 13 months. It's good to have her around again. After 7 months of service, this soldier has finally come home, and her dad's reaction is absolutely precious. Moments like these make life worth living. What could be better than watching your pilot dad fly directly overhead? For this little girl, absolutely nothing. Best husband and daddy ever. Think this soldier went to the gym to work out? Nope, not today. He's there for one reason only, to see his best friend. That joyful face says it all. All the fun of a vacation faded away the moment her beloved soldier came home.
Alright guys, so here's my surprise.
She planned a homecoming that would touch the hearts of her entire family. This soldier had been away for so long that his return became the best Christmas gift his parents could have hoped for. For 14 months of deployment, the thought of his fiancée and his father kept this soldier going. They were his world, and now he's finally back with them. Even though it was a cloudy day, the smiles of this airman and his significant other lit up the entire yard. There's no greater happiness than having him home again. Just opening the door was enough for this soldier to realize that he had never been forgotten. His surprise homecoming is a memory his family will cherish forever. Military homecomings are always emotional, but when it's twins reuniting after years apart, that's a whole new level of heartwarming. You can imagine how important it is for them to be together again. Separation was so hard on this woman that she collapsed in shock before rushing into her husband's arms. He's alive, he's here, and it's not a dream. This family's photographer promised some unforgettable memories, and he delivered. Why? Because their husband and father has returned home from the service. These photos are now their most treasured keepsakes. For just one day, this Marine set aside his serious role to be the loving grandson his grandmother needed. To her, he's a real hero. This family will forever remember the day their hearts finally felt whole again. Judging by the looks on their faces, the surprise was a huge success. This servicewoman came straight to her brother's football game after returning from duty. Who says all siblings do is fight? Their love is so much stronger than that. Her older brother was her whole world, but that all changed when he left for service. 10 months later, he's finally back, and her happiness knows no bounds. Every wag of this dog's tail reflects how many times it thought about its owner. Now that he's back, that doggie's not letting the human out of its sight again. Throughout his service, this soldier dreamed of reuniting with the woman he loves. Today, that dream has become a reality, proving their love is strong enough to overcome anything. The first thing on Sergeant Jory Brower's list after returning home from Syria? Visiting his daughter at Adams Elementary School. Parades and medals can wait. There's no better reward for a dad than a hug from his little girl. Today, Chick-fil-A adds a new chapter to its history thanks to an unexpected reunion. An employee named Jordan got his first hug in a whole year from his military brother, who surprised him at work. Anyone who says the military and romantic relationships don't mix needs to see this. What started as a stern-looking commander turns into a clever plan for a marriage proposal. And she said yes, of course. As soon as this guy saw his sister after such a long time apart, he dropped his backpack and ran to her. The joy of seeing them together again is priceless. These dogs may not be able to speak, but their wagging tails and happy bounces tell the whole story. 9 months in South Korea didn't make them love their owner any less. The return of Major Moshe Scheinfeld didn't just bring joy to his daughters, but also to their entire school. After 9 months of active service in Afghanistan, he's earned this applause. Welcome home, hero. When your sister's always working, the best way to surprise her is with the most unforgettable lunch break ever. That's exactly what this soldier did the moment he got back from Iraq. Cold winds and gray skies didn't matter to this little girl. Her world got brighter the moment her dad came home from a long deployment and hugged her. Exhausting service in a dangerous zone finally gave way to a much-needed vacation. Now, this soldier can finally embrace his loved ones who have been waiting so desperately for their hero to return. This serviceman recruited his neighbor to help plan a surprise for his mom. Having been like a second son to her for the past 2.5 years, there's no way she could have refused. This video is overflowing with love. 9 months apart couldn't compete with the overwhelming emotions of those last few steps toward her boyfriend. She's waited for what felt like an eternity, but nothing can separate them now. 29 weeks ago, he left his pregnant wife to fulfill his duty. Today, he's being greeted not only by hugs from his family, but also from his newborn baby girl. Could there be a better homecoming? This soldier told his family he wouldn't be back anytime soon. Well, they'll probably forgive that little lie because the reaction was worth it. A real family. No one could have guessed that the return of a son would spark such an incredible reaction from his mother, especially after her 80 grueling days recovering from shock trauma. It seems his service went on just a little too long. Forget Spider-Man and Batman, this little boy's ultimate superhero is his dad, who has come home to him and his mom after an incredibly long 9 months away. The heartbreak of separation wasn't nearly as strong as the sweetness of their reunion. This couple is proof that true love can endure any distance and only grow stronger in the end. When 10 months apart finally ends in an instant, the joy is almost too much to bear. This reunion is like a sugar rush for the soul. The sound of true happiness is a father coming home to his family after 6 long months of silence. This soldier may have missed a few months of his daughter's growth, but the best moments are still ahead of them. Now that he's finally home, they're together for good. At such a young age, this girl already knows what it's like to live far from her dad, a reality many military kids face while their parents serve. Moments like this reunion are priceless. Happiness doesn't always knock on your door. Sometimes it stands quietly behind you, just like these parents' greatest joy, their daughter home at last. Once a symbol of separation, this bus has now become a bridge for their reunion. After 245 days apart, they're finally together again. The Navy may have made Patrick Bolton a fierce soldier, but it didn't touch his playful sense of humor. His prank on his dad during is a memory they'll both treasure forever. The unexpected return of her daughter left this mother in complete shock. But that quickly gave way to pure joy when she realized that she was looking at her child again. With her service complete, this soldier ran straight to the cafe, eager to return to her ultimate comfort zone, her mother's embrace. The emotions on her face say it all. She can hardly believe her daughter is finally home. This soldier knows exactly what makes his daughter happy. It's not flowers, but his long-awaited return. That's why he went straight to her workplace to plan this heartwarming surprise. This is the story of two hearts connected by the red thread of fate. She waited 7 long months while he served in the Air Force. Now, their life together can truly begin. Shock, relief, joy, just a few of the emotions felt by Miguel Jimenez Machu's family as they welcomed him home, safe and sound, from his service in the Air Force. 6 months of waiting for her love felt like it would never end, but those last few seconds before she hugged him were almost unbearable. Now, the hardest part is finally over. He's home. Even a parking lot can turn into the most romantic place when the person you've been waiting for finally comes back after months of service. This woman's world didn't feel complete without her Marine husband by her side. Now that he's back, they can spend all day together watching their favorite cartoon, just like old times. This soldier made sure to attend his sister's lacrosse tournament because he knew how much it meant to her. She was so grateful. It was the best thing he could have done for her that day. The excitement of winning a gold medal couldn't compare to the emotional surprise of seeing her sister again. Her promise to be there for his graduation became a heartwarming reality. Months of separation didn't stand a chance against their love. After a long wait, this couple is finally together again, here and now. Getting to sing with Toby Keith felt like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for this woman. But the real highlight came when her husband suddenly showed up. She couldn't hold back her tears of joy. Graduation day became doubly special for Nicolina, as it not only brought her a diploma, but also reunited her with her father, Sergeant Major Shane Bateman. He took 4 days of leave from Qatar to personally hand her the diploma. Walking confidently toward the pitcher's mound, she had no idea that the catcher in the mask was her soldier. The moment she recognizes him, her legs give out from sheer happiness.
Hey, babe.
The top prize for the most heartwarming surprise goes to Sergeant Robert Vandenberg. During a hockey game, he pretended there were technical issues with a video call, only to appear in person. Not only did his kids get their dad back, but he got to meet his newborn baby for the first time. This woman truly deserves to be called Superwoman. After 300 days, a delayed flight, and over 1,000 miles of travel, she finally arrived in the arms of her love. Her dedication is an inspiration to us all. A year is 525,600 minutes that this woman could have spent with her partner. Military service may have taken that time away, but now they can make up for it together. 2 years in the Navy kept this sailor from seeing her dad, so a little trifle like store hours wasn't gonna stop her from reuniting with him. You can put away your tissues, because that's all for today. Let us know in the comments which moment touched you the most. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.